In this video, I'm making 1-inch tokens for my Star Wars inspired tabletop role-playing game. It's super easy and I'm going to show you how you can make your own too. Now, I love making paper miniatures, but there's something about these epoxy sticker magnet tokens that is really satisfying to have at the table. So I thought it'd be fun to throw 20 or 30 of them together just to have on hand for the next time I run Starborg. Okay, so here's what you're gonna need. A bunch of 1-inch round magnets that have adhesive backs, a bunch of 1-inch round epoxy stickers, a 1-inch round circle cutter punch thing, and you'll also need some paper and something to draw with. I'm going to be using smooth Bristol board and these Posca paint pens. Of course, whatever art supplies you feel comfortable drawing with, that'll work as long as there's not too much texture to stick the epoxy sticker on top of. It'll work perfectly. Oh, I should also say that there's links to everything that I'm using in this video down in the description. Okay, first step, super easy. I'm just using one of the circular magnets as a little stencil, just taking a pen and drawing around the outside edge. As you can see, I'm not being very precise about it. All of these little circles will be punched out in the end, so they don't have to be lined up or measured out or anything like that. Fit as many as you want onto a single sheet. Just make sure you leave a little bit of space in between each of them so you have enough room to slide it into the hole punch. Once you have a template drawn out, then it's time to jump straight into the drawing. Like I said, I'm using these Posca markers. They're great for creating nice, solid, bright colors, and it's really easy to add layers of other colors on top. So you'll see what I mean as this time lapse goes on. Now I'm jumping straight into a drawing with these paint markers, but you might want to use a pencil to sketch out your characters first if that makes you more comfortable. But my feeling is, some of these tokens might only get seen at the table once, so they don't have to be totally perfect. And it's so quick to redraw something when it's only 1 inch by 1 inch in scale that if I mess up one of the drawings, I can just redo it later. Now, all of these tokens that I'm making are for the new game Starborg. I want a mix of enemy tokens and player tokens, and I've started with the Legion Troopers, our version of an Empire Stormtrooper. They're very easy to draw, just like all the other tokens that I'll be drawing, but these start with just simple black line art. The top of the helmet is round, and then there's these little stick out bits, and the bottom of the helmet is flat. There's an arch with a few horizontal lines for the speaker air filter thing. It's a straight line across with 2 triangles for the eyes or the goggles. And then to finish it off, I just add a little round neck and then 2 lines for the shoulders. Oh, and then I add just a little red stripe on their helmet and fill the background in with black. These troopers are super easy to draw. You don't have to get complicated with these little tokens because they're so small. Being flat and graphic makes them look better on the table anyway. And when it's simple like this, you can make dozens of these troopers in just a few minutes, really. Okay, for the other enemies, I'm just putting in blocks of color, simple shapes, kind of starting with the head shape or maybe a particular part. And I'm doing multiple at a time because as the colors dry, then I can go back with other colors and layer more shapes on top. Now, this whole project was inspired by this piece of art by Luke Flowers. Awesome illustrator, and these Star Wars character portraits all kind of together gave me the idea to make these tokens. A lot of artwork people use for miniatures at the table are full body illustrations, and while that stuff's awesome, but sometimes all you need is the portrait of a character. That's enough to get the job done and have an awesome time looking at all the cool characters on the grid on your table. So I guess if you don't want to draw your own miniatures, you could print out character portraits. I guess you can spend the time to fit them into 1-inch circles and print them out. But I don't know. I think you're missing out on the fun of drawing. Like I said, you don't have to be some awesome artist to draw really cool little stormtrooper dudes. And one of the main bad guys in Starborg is Lord Commander Vortex. He's just a red line, a triangle face mask, and then a blue hood over top of it. Really simple to draw. And here's one of the main bad guys. And if it's not clear already, I could seriously draw hundreds of these little tokens. I love just sitting here making these little shapes and combining colors and outlining stuff with the black pen. And Starborg has a whole galaxy filled with awesome aliens and wild characters and stuff. So I really could sit here and do hundreds of these if I wanted to cover all of the character and enemy types that we have in this game. So I keep mentioning Starborg. It is a tabletop role-playing game, Star Wars inspired with Morkborg mechanics. I'm making it with my friend Kyle Latino from the Map Crow YouTube channel. So far we have made the Rebel Handbook, which is for players, and we've also made the GM guide, the Galaxy Master Guide for GMs. Both of those are available digitally on my Patreon. And this month, this is some exciting news. We are putting together some solo rules with Perplexing Ruins, so you'll totally be able to play Starborg solo. That'll be available at the end of this month, the end of July, on my Patreon. Link also in the description. And then next month, we're going to make a standalone adventure. It's going to be the perfect example of how to run an awesome game of Starborg. And that's really why I wanted to make some of these tokens as we're figuring out the solo rules and figuring out this adventure. While you totally don't need tokens or miniatures or anything like that to play Starborg, sometimes it's nice to have just a few to move around on a simple map, just to offload some of the brain power of remembering where everything is. Once the legionary troopers start flooding into rooms and blaster fires going everywhere. Okay, now that I've got all of these tokens drawn, it's time to start assembling. All I'm doing is cutting out these tokens just so there's a space for the hole punch. And then I just go down the line, punching away. It's really easy to line them up, but you gotta be careful because sometimes they go flying. All right, now we've got a stack of punched out tokens. We've got our magnets and epoxy stickers. Now it's time to start sticking it all together. I like to start by taking the backing off of the magnet, sticking the punched out drawing on top, and then adding the epoxy token on top of that. But you could start with the epoxy token and then do the magnet. It doesn't really matter. Either way, it's really easy to use your fingers, like kind of use the meat of your fingers instead of the tip of your fingers to line up the pieces as you go. It's really easy if you take your time, and I absolutely love this part. It's so satisfying putting together a little army of these tokens, and the epoxy stickers are really what make it. They feel so nice in your hand. There's a nice little shine or glare to them that just makes them look a little more special or significant than just punching out a little round sheet of paper. Of course, these tokens aren't totally perfect. They're handmade, and just like the Rebellion, there's a little bit of scuff and grime to them, but I think that's what makes them cool and special. And honestly, these things feel so nice and look super cool on the table. I promise if you take your time to make these little tokens and surprise your players at the table with them, they are gonna freak out and love them. Okay, let me know what you think of these tokens down in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you're excited about Starborg like I am, check out my Patreon. The solo rules are shaping up to be really cool. Maybe I should do a video about how to play Starborg in general, and then another video with a run through of a solo adventure. Let me know if that sounds cool to you down in the comments. Thank you so much for checking this stuff out. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. See ya!